Hi everyone. Question. Poncho Nicole. Double knitted. Is it possible to do 2 stitches at the same time in one row? I've tried it out, and as you can see, I've done a stockinette over here and a rib stitch over there. And so I think it's possible. You have to take an even amount for the rib stitch, so you always have to take notice of that. Also, a buttonhole can be done over here, so I'm going to show you how. You've cast it on an even number. This is where your working yarn is coming from, and you always, when it's from behind, from the, and this is front, then you always have to do the front at first. Then you take the third one above and the third one below. And then the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th and the 5th below. Here's where my markers are already, but I'm just going to continue with the rib stitch so you can see how it's done. And then you are with the last one, so you go back, and also then the third stitch you start. And this is the pattern you have to follow to get the rib stitch. Last stitch you knit first, and then you are going to knit all the stitches. Why the markers? Because this part I want to have in rib stitch and the rest will be in stockinette. So I have a point where I know, okay, here's where I have to do the other one. Knit all the stitches, and then we'll do a row with rib and stockinette. Okay, all the stitches down. Here's your working yarn. And then you are going to do the stitch pattern as you would usually do. Okay, then I see the stitch markers. So this is my last rib stitch, and this will be my first stockinette. So then I'll do this one. Okay, this is my first rib stitch, then the 1, 2, 3, the third, and I continue doing the pattern of the rib stitch. Now you just have to look at it, and you are able to see it beneath the stitches, how the pattern was running. So if you check every time, there are 2 stitches on it. Yeah, without that one, of course, because you already knitted that. So you have to check, and you knit the stitches. Also here, a buttonhole can be knitted. And this way you can do with a adult poncho, because then on a nifty knitter you can divide it in 4 or 3 parts. When you have a smaller poncho, I don't think it is possible, because you have to knit in reverse, and the best way of doing your neck is by starting over here. So this is the outside of the poncho. It will be a trim, and then the neck part should be over here, of course, because there is the part that is with your arms. But this is not an easy way to decrease the stitches, so the best way you can do this is when you knit an adult poncho on this kind of looms. Okay, a buttonhole. 4th stitch you put with a 3rd stitch, and of course the other one too. And then you just do the pattern of the stitch. Here you see 3 appear, and here your first. Oh, that is a zigzag. Okay, here is the point where I have to do the stockinette. So I'm doing the stockinette over here. Here is where the rib stitch begins. 1, 2, 3. Doing the ribbing stitch. When you want a bigger buttonhole, you wrap like you normally would do. But when you want a smaller one, you do a kind of figure 8 over here, and you continue wrapping like you would normally do. Okay, then you knit the stitches. Here are 3 on it. You knit 2 together over here. Here you don't have to knit 1 because this is the one you wrapped to make a new stitch, and so you continue knitting the stitches. Here the same, 2, you have 3 stitches on it. You take the 2 under the stitch and then you knit them. Here's the one that was wrapped around to create a new stitch. Okay, now I'm going to show you the small buttonhole and the bigger buttonhole. This is how it looks like. So you have here the rib stitch, here the stockinette. This is the big buttonhole and this is the smaller one. Just make a swatch and look what is good for your poncho. And here's a thing I did with the stockinette. It almost looks like a moss garter stitch. I will do another video. Maybe you can use that as a variation between 10 rows of stockinette. Okay, this was an answer to a question. Is it possible? Yes, it is. Okay, see you on next poncho. Bye bye.